I am here with Luke Smith, who has kindly agreed to join Kotaku Splitscreen yet again for some reason, inexplicably. He is the game director of Destiny 2 after being the creative director of the Taken King.
Which is basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah, just different coat of paint.
Okay, yeah. So when I was reporting for my book and talking to all these game developers, every single studio has just different titles for everything. Yeah. That's how the game industry works.
Yeah, and so at some studios it's like the executive producer's the shot caller, and here it's like that's not how it is. Et cetera,
it's so funny. It's and like producer means a different thing no matter what studio you go to.
It's sometimes producer, that's super creative. And you're like, wait, not for us.
No, I just do the schedule. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here. I think this is when was the last time we talked? September of 2015.
Yeah, I did split screen with you and Kirk.
Okay.
From the home offices.
Okay.
After Taken King, I think.
And I think half of the questions you couldn't answer.
So
or refused to
at
answer.
E3 2000 summer,
right.
E3 2015, I refused half your questions.
Refused half the questions, and so, hopefully we'll get more than half this.
But I'm guessing we're gonna get. I'm positioned for half refusal today.
I am excited. So the first thing I have to ask you about is I just saw this Game Informer article. You okay?
No, I'm great.
You okay? You hanging in there?
Yeah.
First thing I have to ask you about. I saw this Game Informer article. In it, you said that you guys will not be talking about the darkness today.
Correct.
Which is, or in the game. Sorry, you will not be talking about the darkness in the game. And your explanation was, I believe, something about how it's like not time to reveal that, or you're focusing on something else. Correct? It was that. Tell me the truth. Is it because none of you have any idea what the darkness actually means?
I think that at a point, just totally candidly, we had no idea what it was. Straight up, we had no clue.
I'm glad you're being candid.
Yeah, we didn't know what it was, and we for a period. We chose we were gonna lump all the races, and you see this in the tooltips in the game. Minions of the Darkness, and we had taken all the races and just said like, they'll just be the Darkness.
Okay,
but that's like not what the IP deserves. It's like literally not.
I'm glad you're admitting this.
And so what we're doing with Destiny 2 is we are deliberately telling a story about the light and what it means to be chosen.
Okay.
And as such, like we're in the process of like removing the term darkness from the game.
I like
because when we are going to talk about darkness next, we need you to know what it is and have a plan for it. And we do.
I dig it. I'm impressed because this is the first time that, I mean, now we all know about what happened with the first Destiny story and how that was kind of taken apart and dismantled and rewritten at the last minute in the last year of development. This time you guys had the entire full development, and I'm sure you had some hurdles and reboots over the years, but you have a lot more time this time, correct?
Yeah, we've had time, and we've also, I mean, one of the things that Mark and I have been doing with the team is looking ahead beyond Destiny 2 and making sure that, I think that one of the things that's really important about narrative in general, Jason, is a feeling of progress, like as though the world is going somewhere, as though something's happening. And I think that's been an opportunity that we haven't taken in Destiny to date, with a sense of, forward momentum. And so that's something that's super important to us.
Yeah, well, that's a first for Destiny. No offense, that narrative is super important.
So
to you.
I believe we've taken strides.
To
making narrative
King
better.
had like a solid villain, a solid story, and it feels
but it still had the weakness, thing. So how does this all fit together?
Right.
Like,
sure.
An example. I'm going to give you an example that we're not doing.
Okay.
But like, if at the end of Rise of Iron, when Lord Saladin was like, "So you have risen up and become an Iron Lord, and when the last battle arrives, the Iron Lords will rise up and fight beside you." People would be like, "What? There's going to be a last battle, and all these dead dudes are going to come back and fight with me? That's amazing!" And if in subtitles the last battle was capital L, capital B, people would be like, "It's going somewhere. This matters. The stuff I'm doing matters. I feel progress." Like, we haven't provided that.
Okay.
We have to provide that.
And you have to provide that. I'm excited for it. I mean, the opening cinematic is already full of characters, full of charm in a way that it feels Halo-ish in a way that other Destiny missions haven't.
Yep.
Touched upon in the Taken King, didn't really get there. It feels like you're getting more there.
We're finally getting consistency of team, consistency of leadership, and I think we're getting better at making Destiny. I know that's like you're like, well, you get like,
yeah, sure.
It's just the craft has to continue to improve.
Well, so that's the interesting thing, and I have kind of felt like and seen a lot of people voice the Destiny 1.5 opinion.
Yep.
And to some extent, I think that's valid. I mean, the races seem the same, still fighting Cabal, still the same core classes, even though the subclasses are a little bit different. But it also feels like you kind of are iterating on the first game in a way that you were only able to do because you released the first game. So that might lead to some cool stuff. Then that is exciting.
I do think of Game 2 as sort of a revision to the forum. It's an iteration on the forum. Like the opportunity is, open the game up to as many new folks as possible and give them the best version of Destiny we've made yet.
Is it going to be the best version of Destiny maybe yet?
Yeah, I hope so. I believe it. I believe it's going to be. Yes. So
at what point? So we are sitting here in June. How far along in development are you guys?
We're far along. So true story. I'm only here at E3 for one day.
Okay.
So I told Jen, our PR manager, who graciously agreed to Mark and I only here for a day because we got to get back and work on the game.
Okay.
And so I said give me a bunch of the folks that you think we should interview with. Try to get them on Tuesday, like yourself.
Okay. I mean, it's shocking to me, inexplicable to me.
Well, I always enjoy our conversations.
I think we should do it more often.
What?
And then you have to get back and
then we get back and we're just going back to work. We're in the final, for the final 7-8 weeks of work, and this is when for folks like Mark and I, the team is shrinking. The amount of people working on the game are shrinking. They're going to work on different things, and as the team gets smaller on the project, we have a lot more agility to make changes. And so this is a part where a bunch of it comes together.
Well, I am excited to see it come together. Hopefully, you guys don't have to crunch too much.
Yeah, Bungie's crunch culture is pretty good now. I think that certainly around Halo 2 we had that historic death march that I was not present for. I was in college hanging out.
Yeah.
But
you were at Kotaku.
Well, 2000. No, not yet.
No, not yet.
No, Kotaku I think was late 2000. No, it was 2005 when I was there. So I was I was not there yet. Kotaku was not even a twinkle in my eye.
No. Twinkle taku in your eye.
But there's not a lot of crunching. Mark and I and some of our leads, we work late on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Instead of we like to hang out together. We sort of have family dinner with our leads.
Okay.
And sit around and we'll get food catered and we sit around and talk and then we play the game together and then go drive changes throughout the project. But we try to spend extra time at work playing.
How do their families feel about having family dinner with you?
True story. So Mark was FaceTiming with his wife and his young son. And it was last night. We were in the car going to the event. And afterwards, his young son said, "I don't like your friends, Daddy. They keep you away from me."
Oh, no.
And,
oh, my God.
And Mark's,
this is so sad.
And Mark's son is actually, I hang out with him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But he was he just loves having his dad around. And so, when Mark's traveling for business, which we don't do very often, he's like, "Oh, where's Dad?"
Oh, you're making me really sad here, man.
It's just
video games.
Yeah, yeah.
Video games, they steal your life. So something I have to ask you about is something that we haven't seen a lot of and didn't see a lot of at the event is the open world stuff. And so I have heard that EDZ is really cool. EDZ, European Dead Zone, is something that has been in development for many, many years now. Tell me about it. What is cool about it?
So I think what's cool about the layering of activities that we're doing is it starts with the map first and foremost. It starts, which I'm not going to say a map is some tremendous innovation. For us, the map is a product of a ton of work. This is something that this just is not a core competency of our studio. This is a competency and proficiency we've been building. The map is a fundamental element of building a layered suite of activities that can come on top of that. So that
and by the map, you mean actually having a physical
map? There's a map, and you can from the map you can track different activities to do, adventures. You can track public events when they show up on your map.
Can you fast travel around?
There's going to be some fast travel options that you'll unlock.
So I don't have to go online and Google Dreadnought map every time I want to know where something
is. You actually will not have to do that.
That's incredible. What an innovation.
One of the things that we're doing with Destiny 2 is we're trying to unhide a bunch of that fun.
That's cool.
Instead of finding the fun on Reddit, let's find the fun in the game.
Sure. Even with matchmaking now, or semi-matchmaking.
Yeah, with guided games.
Okay, guided games. And guided games, someone had asked me to clear this up. Are guided games available for all types of raids, just heroic raids, just normal raids?
Just normal activities.
So heroic raids or challenge modes and stuff like that, got to find your own group.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the challenge mode layers are going to work there.
Okay.
But yes, the normal tier activities will be guided games, and the heroics will be find your own still.
Interesting. Good to know. And then, so as far as the layers of the map, so we saw some of that stuff. The dead. What was it? What were the names?
Lost Sectors.
Lost Sectors.
I think Dead Sector. Is that an old
Dead
game?
Sector. Yeah, I think so. I'm just all these video game names just like blend
Just
together.
blending
in my
together.
mind.
Yeah.
What other stuff can people like find on the map? So is it like, will I actually be able to go and explore and find interesting things in the world?
We hope so, that you'll be able to go and explore and find like stuff to scan, learn more about. Like, we know that players in Destiny are always looking for, I mean, like, in a bunch of ways, excuses to spend time in the world. And TTK, we had some scannables that you could find in the world and learn about. And in Destiny 2, we have way more than we've ever had. We have the Lost Sectors. There's going to be more events. We still have Silent. Like, we have an event class that we call Silent, which is basically like just when a bunch of monsters show up and start doing stuff. We have more of those. We have we have a name for it internally, but each week we have an activity called a flashpoint, which we haven't talked about really yet. But the flashpoint is basically like a featured destination, a featured location. And then there's a whole class of stuff that shows up when it's the flashpoint, when that's unique, treasure maps to go find,
interesting
special monsters that show up. Like,
so it sounds like, so you guys are throwing some Diablo 3 in here.
I don't want to go so far as to say it's like Diablo 3. I wouldn't draw that comparison, but we wanted to, with flashpoints, have an opportunity each week to focus players on a single location where they can like just go solo, hang out, and then get a super powerful reward from it. Okay. Like the equivalent of an unknown reward from Nightfall, which which is like powerful for your character, super important.
Sure. Yeah, speaking of Nightfall and powerful items, what is the progression system going to look like? Still using light?
We're not talking about the progression system.
Oh, there we
yet.
go.
They've got one.
We got one.
I mean, like, that was a while. Like, we were 13
minutes in. Yeah,
I think that's pretty good. That's
good
impressive. Discipline. Good discipline from you, sir.
Good discipline good candidness from you. I appreciate that. So are all of the zones going to be that sort of layered style? Is it just EDZ? So they're all just like
it's
dense,
all 4 destinations. Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. I just played a bunch of Super Mario Odyssey, and that's like density. So you guys have to compete with that.
Oh gosh.
And Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Those are very different games.
Of course.
I haven't got a chance to, like, I've been locked in the booth all day, so if we had extra time, I would want to interview you about what you've played.
Another time. Yeah. Another time. We can't waste our time. People are listening for Destiny 2 scoops. They can't they don't want to hear about Mario Odyssey. So one of the things that I think bugged people about Destiny 1 is that it came out, there were some flaws. There were some situations where it felt like Bungie was doing things that made people mad and wasn't communicating with them well. And there was a lot of tension between the players, between the hardcore players and the developers. Something like heavy ammo, not the heavy ammo bug early in the game.
Oh my gosh, we're in like
not getting fixed for months.
I didn't have a beard back when that was happening.
There you go. You were just the creative director of something or another. And so a lot of people have been like, all right, Destiny 2 has me interested, but I'm skeptical that like Bungie is really going to deliver. How do I know they're not going to make the same mistakes they made the first time around?
I think that the proof to that, I think, is in the changes that we made with TTK as a result of listening to our fans, and I think that it's just, I think we're on an upward trajectory of improvement. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to get every single thing right. Like, we're going to find new things to step in accidentally as we make a new game. It's just the nature of the beast and the nature of having the active community that we have, where, I mean, there was a period, if you remember, after the first game shipped, like when Destiny 1 shipped in September of 2014, like, there were stories about the game every other day on Kotaku, I think. Like,
that's because Kirk and I just didn't stop playing it.
There was a lot to talk about, and it wasn't always good.
Right, no.
And I think that's the nature of also having an online game.
Sure.
Is that you're gonna have so many different types of players, and you're gonna make some players happy and disappoint others. And I think for us, we have to continue to get better at communicating with folks.
But I will say, with Destiny, I think there were some decisions that seemed inexplicable to a lot of people, like making purple engrams drop blue loot and stuff that just felt very player unfriendly, and like making people feel like they're on a treadmill.
Yep.
And that is the type of thing that I think people are wondering, like, how do I know if I'm spending $60 plus on this game? How do I know that Luke Smith isn't going to put some of that shit in my game?
Yeah, I'm not going to put purple engrams that uncrate into blues.
There we go. There's our scoop. There's our scoop for the day.
I think what you're actually, the heart of the question is, are you seriously learning from what you guys have done? Like that, I mean, really. And I play the game. My account has 2,000 hours of play at retail. Like, I'm playing the game.
Not bad.
I'm playing, yeah, like, and then add up the like time I play in development, the time I go to work and sleep, and you're like, oh, this guy doesn't do a whole lot other than like. So I'm living in that hobby with everyone else, and I want Destiny to be a game that I can enjoy like a hobby, and so I'm playing it like a player, and a bunch of that stuff frustrates me too. Like, there's a specific example, you know, with Crota's End, I like powered my box off playing Crota's End at home because I got boots from the encounter.
So you actually did it. You actually pulled. I didn't realize that you actually pulled the LAN.
No, I didn't pull the. No, I mean I turned the kit off.
Okay. Have you ever pulled the LAN cable also?
No.
Oh, okay.
I refuse.
Okay.
Honorable player.
Okay.
Jason.
Fair enough.
But I also know how to beat the thing, so I don't need to just resort to.
It wasn't about knowing how to beat it. It was about it not being fun to just do it over and over again. So we had to find ways to cheat it.
I got boots from the pit encounter, and when I put the boots on, my overall light went down because I needed shards to level them up, and I was like, no,
just not fun.
I just did the hard work. I got the new item. I should equip it, and it should at least be a side grade. And so I went into work the next day, and you know we fixed it that night before this became a story.
Impressive.
Before this became
I'm sure there were many other stories that are.
There might have been more stories at that time, but like this was. I mean, this is an example of, you know, you play the game like a player, and you learn those lessons while you're doing it.
So does everybody on the team play like a player?
I'm not going to say everyone on the team plays like the I wouldn't expect everyone to play the game as much as I do.
So here's another similar question.
There are folks who play way more. Seriously, there are folks on the Bungie team who play way more than I do.
More than 2,000 hours.
Yes,
that is impressive. So I'm on a similar note. Obviously you guys went through some development issues on Destiny 1, as expected, as any major new IP of this, like, that's an ambitious, totally new thing would go through. So not exactly something to be ashamed of, but like, I'm curious as to what you learned behind the scenes from actually making the game that you are applying to Destiny 2. And I'm sure that it was rocky in some ways too.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that like Bungie, the company, has learned is the importance of strong teams. And that like sounds like, I know that sounds so obvious, but with Destiny 1 we had, you know, Jason Jones, the company founder and game director for the first game, and he had folks that he was surrounded by, but I would say his leadership team was not like a functioning group in the way that leadership teams need to function. And with Destiny 2, it's the leadership team from the Taken King, and we've added some new members to it, but like our philosophy is about like teams being stronger than individuals, which again, this sounds super obvious, but this was a major source of learning for us as a company about keeping, after Mark and I finished our last project together, Bungie's like, well, what do you guys think you want to work on next? And we were like, we'll do anything, but we want to keep the team together. Like, it was more important to me to keep working with Mark and Mike Zach and some of the other folks from that leadership team, because we'd formed a group of folks who, work closely together, who have who rapidly get to creative alignment and can, have the same type of production aesthetics to get stuff done. And like, forming those teams is really important. So I think for us at Bungie, like, a priority going forward has to be in like forming strong teams and keeping those teams together.
And not letting egos clash too much, or not letting people just decide on their own what to do. Yes,
there's a mix of like, how do you empower the small teams, like making like this, like, here's Sandbox Atoms.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, those come from the Sandbox team, like the Sentinel Titan, the Arc Strider. Those are guys that invent all of that. It's not top-down command and control. It's about understanding their passion and leaning into it. Like, the decision to go to 4v4 for PvP in Destiny 2, I will take full responsibility for that decision, but that decision came from like talking to the Sandbox team, talking to the PvP team about what they're passionate about. They're passionate about learnable, understandable, masterable, small team format PvP, and that's what they want to do. They think that they can win doing that.
It's interesting. So does that mean there are no more private matches this time around?
So it means we do not have private matches at launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another post-launch thing. It seems like there are a few that, like, I think people were excited about ranked PvP, and that's not happening.
We're not doing ranked PvP. We're 7 weeks or 7-8 weeks away.
Okay.
We have an idea of something we might do. I don't want to commit to it here because I'm not sure that it's going to happen.
Sure.
But if we don't get it for September 6th, there will be some way of players showing off their prowess to other people, which is ultimately what a ranking system is.
Sure.
It's that.
Bragging.
Yeah, we're working on something.
Okay, good to know. I'm being told that we are almost out of time. Titan Bubbles are back.
Yes.
That's what I hear, because
So-
everyone thought they were gone.
Everyone thought they were gone. For a while, I thought they were gone too. And I think that the Titan bubble has this amazing property of it's like a mistake you can put in the world, or it's something amazing you can put in the world as a player. And it's like you're physically altering the gameplay space in a way that I think is pretty exciting. The Sentinel, it's one of the things the Sentinel can do.
Why'd you take away my Sunsinger res?
Because I think that the challenge of choosing when to resurrect is not as interesting, because it just ends up your super bar is just always full. It's not game, like waiting is not gameplay.
Yeah, but then I don't have to worry about fucking up because I have this second chance.
Exactly, and now you're gonna worry about it.
So one of the things that people have always wondered about Destiny, and I know you're a big World of Warcraft guy, is the kind of roles people will play on raids. Do you think you will ever set up a situation where you have different classes being required for different things?
I think we've done a really good job of creating a cooperative raid game that doesn't rely on the Trinity, tank, healer, DPS.
Sure.
And I'm like really satisfied that we've done that.
Okay, so you're happy with it.
I'm happy with that. Now, let me get to the second layer of the question that I think you're asking, which is, like, there are other fantasies that Destiny could be providing, like support fantasies and things like that. Do I ever think we'll add more of those? Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, in the long run, we will.
One more thing, final question, I suppose. I've heard that you guys were very interested in doing raids with wings and like having multiple fire teams working together and all that sort of ambitious stuff. Any of that stuff actually going to happen, or is it just kind of on a whiteboard somewhere?
It's I would say stuff like that sounds amazing, and it's probably on a whiteboard somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I love those fantasies too.
Yeah, like the ideas. We have no shortage of ideas.
Don't we?
On different fun stuff to give players.
Just like the players. I mean, just go on Reddit and you'll find right now every single day on Destiny the game, it's like, Bungie, you need to put this in Destiny 2. Bungie, you need to play this. Do you guys listen to that stuff, or is it too late for that?
I don't think I wouldn't say we. I think there's a difference between listening and hearing, and we're definitely looking at our fans, and we hear what they're saying. I don't like listening implies we're going to take action on it.
Sure.
And so I prefer to say we're hearing than like some covenant of
Yeah,
like, oh well, we did that. Like I've posted on Reddit. Like I post over that on Reddit now and again.
I will keep an eye for every single.
Oh no, I'm sure you will. I would expect nothing less, Mr.
Luke Schmidt,
Schreier.
thank you so much for being here, and we are all looking forward to your game, which comes out September 6th because you decided to bump it up 2 days.
Yeah, the reverse delay.
Good job.
Get scooped.
You did it. Thank you, Luke.